Hello. So I have been trying to figure out, everything was so. I've been trying to figure out how to start another video. What do I want to do? What's interesting to me? I'm trying to be, selfish. I'm not trying to think about like, ooh, what would other people want to see? But like what I want to do, but also what other people would want to see. So like, okay, here's my idea. I am going to take a show that I've been enjoying a lot lately and draw one of my characters in the style, in that world, as like a Sona for that universe. And I've decided I'm going to do Amazing Digital Circus. So, yeah, let's do some stuff. First, step one, research. Alright, so doing research is always the most important thing. Here I am doing a very quick Google on the Amazing Digital Circus, and honestly, getting an idea of what the different designs looked like, but the biggest thing I wanted to figure out is if there's like a rhyme or reason behind specific designs. And best I can find is like there's a ton of fan theories that have to do with like the negative part of the person in reality being exemplified in their design inside the circus. But like I couldn't find anything too official, but it was enough to start going by. So I started sketching on Procreate, just laid out. I've always had this idea of this character. This is AOI. This is my like persona from middle school, and I've been having fun just drawing them again. But they are canonically very tiny, like the opposite of me. And that's one thing I've always kind of laughed about this character. And there's a running joke of like a fursuit of this character would be weird because they're so small. So like I've often said I want a Muppet of this character, like Kermit the Frog sized Muppet to carry around. If I were to ever have some representation of this character, a Muppet would be the way to go. And that just feels very on brand with the whole Amazing Digital Circus thing. With Ragatha being a rag doll and Kinger being like a king piece and all of that. So I feel like a Muppet would be great. And like animated, I imagine doing Muppet faces would be really funny. So I had to like elongate the character's mouth and stuff like that and think it through. As usual with modeling, I'm using Nomad Sculpt on my iPad. And to start off, you always have a sphere, and that's a good place to start with doing a head shape. Wanted to have the foxy vibe, but one of the things that Muppets have, and a lot of puppets have, is the very wide mouth. So it was a balance of like having a very wide mouth, but also not having it be very frog-like. Keeping the kind of like triangular fuzzy cheeks going on, and putting in the eyeballs. It's very important. Golf ball kind of eyeballs. Historically, a lot of the Muppet eyes are just painted ping pong balls, and I love that little like tidbit of fact because I love Jim Henson and all of those people who created things. And so yeah, Muppet eyes. But here I am working on my iPad. Someone wanted to know about the eye patch, which you see very clearly here. I have a lazy eye. Those of you who see my old videos know eye contact is not something I can do with both eyes. And with the aid of this thing on my glasses, it actually forces my lazy eye to focus forward, thus giving me something called depth perception and being able to see in 3D, which is never really experienced. So that's been fun. Anyway, back to my character here. Of course, Fennec Fox, very big ears. I wound up doing a lot of adjustments. I think doing ears on 3D models is like one of my favorite things to do. There's just something really fun about creating something that changes so much of the silhouette of a character and then just duplicating it on the other side. It's just so fun. And there's like carving and adding and like changing the size and the shape. And it feels very sculptory, and it's just very, very satisfying. And just trying to move things around, get the right angle, get the right shape. And also you have to be very careful about putting very large things that are going to be symmetrical on a model. Because when you go and hit the mirror button, you don't want it to like merge together, because that would be odd. But looking very terrifying puppet like, right? Those eyes are kind of scary with that wide ass mouth. Moving out the body, to bring in the whole Muppet thing, and I may or may not have come up with my own like silly little headcanons about this character if they would wind up in the circus, but I just thought about it like coming up regularly about the armhole, because this is very much a puppet, like moving on its own and stuff. And it'd be funny if like most of the time it's like City God stuff, but like, I don't know, just the fact that there's just a gaping hole in the bottom of this character brings me joy. Hands. Don't we all love hands? Aren't hands diabolical? I have found in the time of doing 3D models, at least the fastest way I can get it is doing a bunch of tubes onto a square, and then just like whittling away at the shapes until it is hand-like. But it also helps that specifically the hands of this character are goofy paw finger hands, so they're like chonky in a way that like I don't have to be as realistic. Plus there's only 3 fingers, which is, you know, very helpful. I enjoy the show, The Amazing Digital Circus. I didn't watch it at first because I thought it was stupid, but like so much animation these days, it starts out very stupid and annoying and then makes you cry. Like, I feel like that right there is like the true meaning behind good animation in modern society, is it's stupid and makes you cry. Just smoothing out things, giving it kind of lumpy dumpiness, and we have a hand. Look at that. Very, very hand-like. The temptation to give this puppet creature thing, which at this point is looking very terrifying and like not personal at all. I was definitely off model of my sketch, but I was just trying to get everything created. I wanted the temptation to give it giant hands, like freaking anime hands was there, but no, Muppets have smaller hands. All right, here's when I started fixing the face. I moved the nose up, I adjusted where the eyes lay, and it's definitely starting to look more like a character and not creepypasta. But also puppets are kind of creepypasta anyways, let's be honest. But back to Amazing Digital Circus while I sit here and doodle. I gotta say, I think my favorite character is Kinger. There's just something about and I hope no one's watching this not expecting spoilers, because I want to freely talk about a show. But I adore Kinger. He is goofy and silly and stupid, but also like has like some of the most meaningful moments in the entire goddamn show. I'm recording this after having watched up to episode 6, I think, which is all there is out at the current moment. I'd started watching it on Netflix and had not realized that there were 2 more episodes on YouTube that I hadn't seen yet. So my husband and I were like, no, we're going to go watch those real quick. But yeah, Kinger, I think, is my favorite character. I fear that sometimes I can be kind of a Ragatha. And like, I am terrified for Jax. I know this character has this identity he's going for and stuff, but I am not ready to be emotionally destroyed by whatever happens to this guy. So yeah, it's gonna be a lot and it's gonna be hard. Back to things that I use tubes for laziness is big, weird, flat shapes. You just kind of draw the shape out and like voxel remesh it and like flatten and smooth everything down, and you have pretty much the shape you made. You might need to inflate some parts to fill in some gaps and squeeze stuff around, but it is like the fastest way to like make a shape. I honestly use this a lot for doing like hind legs on quadrupedal creatures, because that like shape is an annoying amount of spheres, so I'll literally just draw it at the angle I want out of tubes and then flatten it all and then flesh it out. It's way faster. And I did that for the ear fluff because this character has to have fluffy ears because that is just who they are. Putting a lot less effort into the feet than I did the hand because it's a puppet and like it doesn't really matter and cute little feet work for it, right? That is reasonable, right? That's totally a good reason to do stuff. Always save extra copies of things, because if you merge everything together, it gets really hard to undo. This is what I'm doing here before I start like merging all the pieces, is I've saved another copy, and I'm doing all of that in this copy. So taking the hands and the legs and the feet, merging them together, redrawing my creases, cleaning it up, make sure it fits together well. Be careful with your remeshing vertices, because if they are like way too low, you'll do some really weird stuff to your model. So just keep that in mind as you slowly merge stuff together. I have learned over the years of playing with this, especially when you're sculpting in this style, of like when and where to have lots of vertices and like less vertices. Like if you're working with big chunks, less vertices is actually pretty great because it smooths it out way faster. But when you're dealing with like little things, more vertices. You need more vertices with little things. Now it's time for the details to make this goober a character. I had originally planned on having the eyeballs be like a part of the sculpt, but no, floating eyebrows works. I mean, doesn't have to be fully realistic because it is for a weird animated show. So floating eyebrows, bean eyebrows, and glasses are really annoying because you need to make eyeballs work with glasses. So like putting glasses where you want versus where you want the eyeballs, definitely not a fun thing. You get some weird expressions when putting eyeballs and glasses together. But feel like it worked out okay. It was so much fudging. But also, like, furries and glasses are a problem anyway. Like, what do you do with the glasses arms? Like, do you draw them going vertical over the ears? Do you completely negate them, like I do for this character? Do you have them just sticking out the side of the head uselessly? I mean, you see all forms of it, but like, and like, there's no way these glasses would stay on, especially with the glasses chain attached, because glasses chains are heavy. And there's no way these glasses would not fall off. But that's reality, and who cares about reality when you have animation in 3 dimensions and get to do whatever you want to do? So, yeah, playing with textures. That texture's completely lost later. Completely. I was trying to make it look ropey and nice, but it didn't work, and that's okay. Oh yeah, adding a little part that actually makes sense that the glasses attach to the glasses chain. You know, it's the little details. Managed to get a collar on there. Collar has been on this character since freaking middle school. And this is the point where I'm going to make the shirt. Now, I have learned over many efforts, it's not worth sculpting a shirt over a character. It's going to take you too long. It's going to be too stupid. What do? Create a copy of the entire body and just chop pieces off of it, because then you know it's going to fit, because it's literally just the body. Cutting off the arms, cutting off the legs. It's so fun to cut stuff when it works. And look at that, there's a weird t-shirt. Gonna cost opening. Cut up the middle, make sure it's flat. Mirror it. It's the same on both sides. Look! Look at that totally fitting shirt. That just needs some minor adjustments. Yeah, clothes are weird. It's, if you're not doing like actual real 3D stuff and trying to just make the shapes and keep it simple, it's better just to be chunky. You want to be careful not to be too chunky, but yeah, that's how you do clothes. And of course you add details and move stuff around, like here's the piece of the tail that kept on. What do? Chop it off. The answer is chop it off more times than you think it would be. But chopping it off helps, like, a lot. And at this point, we are almost done. I used my little trick with tubes to make the collar part. And, smoothing and adjusting weird stuff that happens when you do a mirror. But, yeah, this is starting to look good. This little character. Just a little guy. Moving some stuff around, adjusting, making sure the glasses chain's not, like, inside of the character or shirt. Fattening some parts out that squeeze smooth. Like, this is where I said most of the texture gets lost. That's cool. It's okay. We just got a little guy that's adorable and goofy. And you know what this little guy needs next? Color. From what I've played with, if I just lean back. From what I've played with, if I would want to take this character and put it into a game, which I've done game jam games with Nomad Sculpt, I would actually need to color it in Procreate with my limited tools. You can't really export the texture maps from Nomad Sculpt, or at least I haven't found a successful way to do it yet. Maybe it's updated it, I just never learned that. But I have to do remeshing and a unwrapping in Nomad Sculpt, and then I take the texture mapping that was produced that way automatically, which can cause issues, so you gotta be careful. And then I take the OBJ of the model, and it goes into Procreate, and then I'm able to color and texture it from there, and then I can export the texture maps. But I haven't figured out how to do it all in like one program. But you know what? It's fine because Procreate has access to more brushes and stuff. But I was not planning on exporting this creature. I just wanted to do it and get some cool pictures because this was just for the sake of doing fun art things. And that was a lot of effort that I didn't want to go through. I might go through that effort later, now that the model exists. But I'm also not sure how well it would go because it's got so many parts between the glasses and the glasses chain and all of that. Those usually don't go well with stuff. Will I possibly export just a plain OBJ of this so I can put it into a program and make this little guy dance? This character dance around like an idiot? Maybe. Probably. But for now, just getting all the correct greens and colors in and trying to keep stuff very muted in the amount of texture detail, like not doing the shiny stuff too shiny and all of that, because they don't do that much in Amazing Digital Circus. I mean, like, the eyeballs are incredibly shiny, but besides that, a lot of the textures on at least the characters are pretty basic. So I'm trying to keep in that spirit and draw this character in the right iconic little shirt that reminds me of my current branding. Because when you gotta take your self-insert characters, you gotta update them correctly, right? The dark clouds are actually kind of really annoying to paint in 3D. And the stars, because the stars did not come out clear. But it's okay. It's just little details, little things. Just making a cutie pie. I don't know where originally this like star and cloud motif came from. I think I was just designing random stuff and I like it and it just feels appropriate, so it's just my branding. And then adding collar. Still can't, like, I had, so when I was like 14 or 15, I had this little like choker necklace, because it was the 2000s, of this little silver disc with a green paw print in the middle of it, and I was obsessed with it, probably because I was a teenage fairy. And I wore it all the time, and that's kind of where it came onto this character. And of course, this character has completely changed from my childhood, and is now just this, like, creature thing, instead of this, like, identity that is me, but also I love it, and it still represents me in a way. Even though I don't like fully identify that I am this character, but I still love them. Stupid name though. I thought AOI, which I know now is pronounced Aoi, in Japanese, because of course I was a little anime nerd. I thought it meant blue because I didn't know how to use Google correctly, apparently. Or I thought it meant green. It means blue. And so I called this character Aoi. But again, I didn't know how to pronounce it, so I just called this character AOI, just pronouncing the letters like an acronym. So, yeah, this is AOI, the green, definitely not blue fox. And didn't know what a fennec fox was either, so they were just a big-eared fox. So that's been a growing period of my life. If you actually look back at the video, if you look at the ceiling, you've got old badges I've made of this character through many, many years. Large amount of time it was just this like feral creature. Of course it became a furry for a short time, and now we have this creature. I love them so much. They are a part of my growth and stuff, and just seeing them as a little guy, a little dude, a little person, a little non-binary creature. I don't know. Gender's a construct when it comes to this creature because it's been around so long. Always was a she for a very long time. Doesn't feel as she-y anymore. I don't know. It's just creature. It's just who they are. But yeah, there's my creature. What you think? So let's take a minute and appreciate what I made. Look at it. Ooh. Ah. Ooh, ah, ah. Gorgeous and adorable. And totally ready to be put straight into a cartoon. Just don't look in the puppet hole. That's rude. Anyway, thank you for watching this and listening to me jabber on. I don't know what I talked about. Good show. Watch show if you have not seen The Amazing Digital Circus yet. And if you want to play with No Wild Sculpt or other apps, there's tons of tutorials out there. And yeah, this is a thing I made. Alright, until next time, I guess I'll see you guys later. Bye!